Anyone can do this. Take your pick. Because they all have their bad press. Society doesn't leap with expectancy over any of these words: God, church, Bible, Jesus, or prayer. You see, most guess about the first, God. They get disgusted about the second, church, can't understand the third, Bible, use the fourth to swear by, Jesus. But then, somehow, ineffectively or imperfectly, we all try the last one, prayer. You see, sometimes, somewhere, somehow or another, everybody prays. The emotional person might weep. The bewildered person might mutter to themselves. The sophisticated person might not even admit it. The intelligent person might say he's just expressing an inner emotion or inner affirmation. But they all prayed. That acknowledgement is not, however, to suggest that they did it well. But marvelously, for reasons that ought to and can be understood, prayer fumbling, halting, fearful, dubious, well-worded, whispered, or unspokenly wished works. In fact, it works so well by apparent accident, it's puzzling that more don't bother to find out how it works in actuality. It works so well in crisis, one wonders why we don't implement it on a regular basis. You see, most of us don't pray on a regular basis because we're deeply aware that it will cost us something. More than time, more than money, more than faith, more than becoming religious. To lay hold of prayer as my own available resource for effective, practical, daily use as an abiding certainty in an unpredictable world will cost me one thing: honesty. I may grasp at prayer in an emergency, lunge for some divine intervention in the face of helplessness, call to God in the middle of my painful difficulty, and make a connection, and thank God it worked. Why? Because my own obvious need forced my hand. I had to tell him, somebody up there, God, the man upstairs, whoever you are, that I couldn't handle it myself. And that's what really started the action. My honesty, my honest confession of impotence opened the door to omnipotence. That's how something gets answered. But we're not after sometime. We're after constant answers. Certainty in the midst of uncertainty. Possibilities where there seem to be none remaining. But such prayer will require more than just honesty about our helplessness. That's a beginning. But it will also require real honesty about our ignorance. Sin, that old-fashioned word about humanity that asserts that none of us really have it completely together. It's the two-headed monstrous reality in us all. It labels our inadequacy for continued unselfish godlessness or goodness, and it describes our mental blindness to the truths that make prayer not only viable, but a vital way of life. See, honesty requires acknowledgement of what we aren't. And there's nothing more inherent in human nature than the insistency that we can do it ourselves. that we want to do it our way until we can't. See, we don't pray, at least until we can't do it ourselves. Not until our way doesn't work, nor does any other dozen ways that we've tried. And even then, there are those who will be damned if they play the hypocrite and call on God in a crisis. You see, their inverted honesty argues, I didn't believe in God when things were all right, so I am not going to cop out with some childish flight into fantasy. Honesty refusing its own exercise. How ironic. But abstract honesty isn't the price of prayer. Not just honesty to myself honesty. No, only honesty to God honesty will do it. Honesty will acknowledge our obvious need for forgiveness and inner fullness. Honesty which admits the draining effect of our own compromising has on us, and honesty which refuses to compromise further with another artificial answer for our emptiness. Such honesty will receive the record of history regarding the only one who ever claimed to be the giver of real fullness in life and to be the sole way to God. It will confront a history which records his miraculous birth, impeccable life, phenomenal teachings, dynamic miracles, atoning death, and glorious resurrection. His history may not be deniable, but it is irrefutable. Anyone can shut out the sunshine, but no one can stop the dawn or the high noon. And after we initially open to his life and power, we will need to learn what he really came for. If we think that the hope of heaven is the sum of Christ's gift, then we will live out a spiritually juvenile existence, pointed towards heaven, but pointless on earth. Perhaps the high point of Jesus' teaching ministry came when his disciples asked him, Lord, teach us to pray. When pupils ask the right questions, the teacher is happiest. In response, Jesus taught them nothing of mysticism, nothing of religious pretense, nothing of meditation, nothing of bizarre physical contortions, nothing of memorized incantations attended by clouds of incense. But he did teach them something about the matter of violence. He was clear. He was very clear on that one thing. Prayer was a matter of assault, of binding, of warfare, of evasion. On earth's side, he taught things may appear impossible, yet from heaven's side of things, there is a violence that can explode the impossible. But it needs troops for the invasion. About 2 feet ahead and slightly to the left, son, there's an entry point into a better realm than ours. The problem is finding how to catch up with it.